My name is Natalie Dutiel. I'm WDO's Communications Manager and pleased to moderate the next 2 sessions. So here we go. With a bachelor's degree in engineering and industrial design from Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, Gustavo Chelles is a designer and creator based in Brazil. Alongside his wife, he founded Chelles and Hayashi Design in 1994, and they have since worked to deliver hundreds of projects and patents to support brands around the world in their quest to become stronger and more innovative. Here to share politically engaged design, Gustavo.
Hi. First of all, I would like to congratulate WDO for 65 years of supporting design, industrial design in the whole globe. And also congratulate Sam and Juliet for the presentation. I really loved it, okay? Let me share my screen now. Okay, now I got it.
Perfect, yes.
Okay, thank you. So I will talk about politically engaged design, and that has a relation to what Sam and Juliet were talking about before me. And first of all, I'd like to share my feeling that I have right now, being a Brazilian, something like other Brazilians also have in mind, that we have been dreaming of a future that never comes. And this has no relation with technology or being able to go from one planet to another, but I'm talking about inequality, because that's maybe the biggest issue that we have here in our country. And as a designer, we cannot be a part of this issue, and that's something that we were trying to do in our work here that we have been doing for 30 years. Okay. So during my professional life, I have been engaged in socially and environmentally projects like health products that are intended to improve people's health and give more access to health services, people that cannot afford the services here, and home appliances that bring more life quality to the people that cannot afford expensive products, for example, cosmetics, tools, transportation objects and equipment, and also urban equipment. And as an example, when I started work 30 years ago, only 20% of the population here in Brazil had a washing machine, and that's that was the first kind of product that I was designing. And today we have a much better situation. 70% of the people have access to a washing machine. And I'm proud that delivering simple products that were affordable, we were able to help people to have access to more time and less homework when they are wanting to have leisure or something like this, okay? And as a citizen also, I can develop some activities like volunteer work, communication, community tasks, and also donation. But unfortunately, individual actions like mine and the ones from my neighbors here, they are not enough to solve the problem of inequality here in my country. So I still don't see this future coming because we are lacking of a wider policy for improving the lives of the people. And that means that when, as a collective of people or as an individual level, we can improve the lives of some people that are close to us, but we cannot do the same as, for example, the government that has a much bigger power for changing people's lives through policies, through laws, through investments that they can do. So it's important that we keep on doing like we are doing as individuals, as a group of people also. But although we should have the government level watching and enlightening the horizon for us, in fact, what we see here in our country is something, is something like this. This is what we are seeing here. We don't have the same vision of our government. right now. So that's something that we are fighting for and try to improve, like as individuals and also as a force of professionals. So I started to have this sense of urgency and also of capacity of taking part of this change when we took part of the Brazilian voting device project in 2017. This project was intended to redesign the ancient voting device, like you are seeing here. But in fact, we discovered that there were lots of opportunities for affecting not only the aesthetics and the design of the external design of the device, but the whole experience of voting, logistics, and a lot of things that impact on voting process, and also the fact that the elector can vote precisely. It won't have pressure over his vote, and there won't be frauds also, because this is very connected to the way that the voting device is designed. And I will show a little bit a macro view of the process of development that we had at the time. So this is the first phase of the project, in which we were engaging the people from the government that was involved on the project. And at first, I was very concerned that I would be in touch with the rotten part of our government, because there may be corruption or there may be some problems. But I was very surprised that they were very committed to a very stable and honest process of voting. The voting process that we have today in Brazil has never had a fraud in 23 years of history. And so we felt very honored to be able to interfere on this process and also bring some innovations for it in a way that if we, for example, we adopted the printed vote, we could have something that wouldn't affect negatively the time of voting and also the confidence of the elector on the process. So it was really a life-changing experience working for this. And I myself, as a professional and also as a citizen, I started to study and to read more about how designers could get involved on the process of impact the society from a political side and from increasing the participation and the representativeness also, okay? And something that was very important was not only the interface of the voting device in a way that the elector could understand better how to vote and how to match the digital vote and the printed vote that could be used for auditing the process, but also we produced some innovative ideas for how to store the device, how to transport, how to maintain the device, how to assemble in the section, voting section, voting zone where the person votes, and how the printed vote could be stored also for auditing in the future. And then we were able, for example, to reduce in 40% the size of the packaging of the device so that it could be stored in a smaller place, for example, and also lowering the costs of the whole process. So that was a life-changing opportunity, as I said, okay? And that led me to think more about how we could improve the participation process that we had here in our country, because we're moving forward the digitalization of the whole process of government here also. We are very behind countries like Denmark and Estonia, for example, but we have very nice tools provided by the World Bank, the United Nations, and OECD, and also from the United States government that give us some examples of how we can handle the challenges for making a digital government. And as we can see here in the pillars for the evolution of digital public service in Estonia, we have a very important role for design here. And they state that design is important for connectivity, for service, for experience, also for digitalization, and a different kind of mindset also that we can bring because of our background for systemic designing. And so I was thinking of a concept called Republic 2.0, because here in our country, we are not matching the original goals for the Republic, which is made from a Latin word res plus publica, which means public thing. And the three pillars of Republic is libertas, which is connected to the sense that we cannot be slaves anymore. We have to have freedom, and have to have freedom to choose our ways, and we have to make our choices about what we would like to be and what kind of country we would like to be. Autoritas is related to the power that we can have for decision and for empowering people that we elect for taking decisions in our place. And potestas is related to the power of legislate, of applying the law and be fair and bring justice to everybody in the country. So what if the classic republic doesn't allow the people to exercise those three pillars? And I think there are some countries in the world that have a similar situation to ours here, because they have this problem of lack of representativeness, and also that the money, the wealth generated by the population doesn't come back to the population in the way that it could be. So I prepared here a graphic to show how the system here works and how the population is served by the system. So first, the wellness generated by the population goes through a system that is controlled by the executive, the legislative, and judiciary powers here. So those powers, they operate the implementation, creation, and mediation of policies and laws. But in the process of controlling and executing those tasks, there's this gray area here that I'm representing, where there is a big loss of money by inefficiency, incompetence, and corruption also. And this is a lot of money that we lose. And then the system is very complex, and we have to waste a lot of money also to operate it in implementation, in creation, in mediation also, because we have more employees than necessary. They get more money than necessary. And also the powers that we have here, the presidency, the Congress, and also the judges and everybody else, they send money to their own interests, and they are considered only about mainly about their state, and not mainly on the population itself. So what we have here is when we return the services to the citizens, we have a big loss of money that comes back to the population, because those powers that we have here, they block the representativeness, and when someone is elected, it doesn't necessarily represent my desire about the policies and the laws that we would like to have. And we have this example right now in the United States, where the majority of population doesn't want the abortion law to be changed, but anyway, the legislature changed the laws based on the wishes of a minority. And so this is something that cannot happen, and happens here all the time. So what happens here is that the citizen serves the system and not the opposite. And there's a lack of representativeness that we should think about eliminate. And as a designer, I would like to see, and as a system thinker, I'd like to see a system where the people can vote and propose directly laws and policies that would only be operated by a system that is audited by the citizen also. And maybe this is something that can be obvious to some people that are watching the presentation, but this is something very distant to us because the system is operated today by powerful people that have a lot of money, and then they don't want the system to change. So my task as a professional, as a designer, I believe that is also propose some solutions and generate a discussion in society so that we can bring solutions and we can bring ideas. And as Juliet and Sam were talking about, having designers working in the government so that we can help them to see and to be able to have those ideas and implement them. Okay, so in a way that we can return a bigger wealth for the citizens differently than we have today in our country. Then we believe that the system in this way will serve the system in this way will serve the citizen, and we can do this through technology and design. I believe that we have today the technology that is necessary for the citizen to be able to vote on the policies instead of voting someone that will vote in someone that will vote someone to handle the policies and to create them. And so today we are very distant to the decision, and we must be within the decision process so that we can be sure and we can make sure that our wish is fulfilled. Okay. So as an example of something that I'm developing right now is the Brazilian flag reframing projects that I'm starting here with design associations and also university. I'm talking about symbols, and symbols are something very powerful. And then you are seeing here a picture that looks like people protesting about Ukrainian war with the Ukrainian flag and Brazilian flag. But in fact, this is a riot from far-right people and Nazis people also, and they're using those symbols. They are catching those symbols as theirs, and those symbols are not made for this kind of purpose. They are made for other kind of purpose. So here in Brazil today, we have this kidnap of the flag as a symbol for the far right, and I would like to see this reframed and catch it back by the population as a symbol for our dream of future also. So our flag is this one here. Maybe you know the flag, but doesn't know the meaning of the colors and the design of it. So the green color connects to our forest and our richness for agriculture and for biodiversity also. The yellow color is connected to our richness regarding minerals, gold and iron, and everything that we export as commodities. And we have the stars that are connected to the immensity of our territory and also the states. Each star is connected to one of our states here. And we have this phrase here, order and progress, which was created in the end of 19th century to express our dream of future for progress, for development also. So what we have today is that we have people starving today in Brazil, and we have the forest being destroyed by lots of people. And parallelly, we have a country that has a technology, that has universities, schools, but they are not accessible to everyone. So my project now, I'm calling it Sacode a Bandeira, which is something that in Portuguese means shake the flag, and so that we can bring artists and designers to rethink the flag as a symbol, to think about the meaning of each of the elements of the flag, And I'm showing here some examples made from artists here in Brazil. And I would like to create a website or a contest for this, because we are commemorating 200 years of independence from Portugal when we were a colony. So that's what I would like to do, and to bring this discussion to society in a way that we can rethink and we can think more about which kind of future we would like to have, and also how we are representing this future, and we are not taking part of the fight for it as we should take. And finally, I would like to state also by those examples that I'm bringing, how we have roles for designer regarding political tasks and participation. We have this leadership in future thinking that can bring to inside of government, like Juliette mentioned. We can bring models for new mindsets, because we have minds that are very free, and we also would like this freedom in our countries, in our societies. We can work with public system design, like the example that I brought, when we eliminate, for example, the Congress, and we vote directly on the laws and the policies that we would like to have. We can build this communication with society, like this project of the flag that I'm mentioning. And we can also design tools for democracy. I don't know which tools we could design, but I'm bringing here the possibilities, and we can think together also, and we can discuss about this. And we can also reframe our symbols and the symbols that bring meaning to us, and we can give them the importance that they really have. As I told you, this is something that touched me and was life-changing when I reconnected to politics when we were designing the voting device for Brazil. This is a subject that I would talk the whole day about. There are hundreds of details about the projects I mentioned here. But since this is a very objective presentation, I would like to leave here my thanks and also my mail message, so that you can contact me if you have also interest on this kind of subject. And I would like also to thank again WDO to give me this space, so that we can talk a little bit more about our concerns here and how we can build a better world and a better country also. Okay, thank you very much.
Wow, Gustavo, what a presentation. I think truly a testament to this conversation of leadership having no bounds and being, approached by so many different perspectives. I think your very literal sense of bringing, the questions of leadership, those that have risen to political power, and how designers have an active role to play here, whether it's in, designing something physical like a ballot or a ballot box or a voting mechanism, to redesigning the flag, a symbol of pride, a symbol of unity for the citizens of this country. I think that was a stunning presentation, and we thank you very much for it. Since we do have 5 or 6 minutes before we start our next session, I hope you won't mind that I may ask you a question or two about your presentation and about the work that you're doing here. I think that I actually have many questions. I think the presentation was really fantastic. My first question was, when you first approached this project of redesigning the voting system, were you daunted by it? Was it an exciting challenge? Were you worried about, what the prototypes might yield? Or, you talked about a legacy of 23 years of a kind of fraud-free election. What was your approach to this project?
Well, when we were hired by a company that won a bid for redesigning the whole system for the digital ballot. So we were hired for just changing the aesthetics of the product, and for helping them thinking about how we could improve the whole process. And when we started a design thinking process, and we were talking to, we were understanding better the complexity of and the challenge of taking the device to populations in Amazon forest, and Brazil is a very big country, so there's a logistics challenge, there's a storing challenge when you don't have elections, because you have to store the ballots for 2 years, for example, between one election to another, and the cost is very big. And so how could we decrease the cost so that the government could reallocate the money to other things, for example? So we envision a big field for bringing innovations and bring opportunities for lowering the costs, and also making the experience of vote better for the electors also. Because the voting, the printed vote was demanded by a law that there was brought in 2015, I think. Then they gave up about the printing vote, because it's very expensive and very complex to implement right now. But another lessons were implemented for the design, like, for example, the new interface and the new layout of the thing, so that the movement of the finger could be smaller, and we can have a smaller vote time for each elector.
Fantastic. I think it reminds me of, something we've heard a couple of times already today about meeting people where they are. So you're talking about, how big Brazil is, how vast the voting body is, and how do you adapt to all of these people who are approaching it from different levels of literacy, of education, of access to these polls or these voting places. Very, very interesting. I'll leave you with one more question, Gustavo, if I can. What would you say to another designer in a similar situation in a country where they potentially want to make a change, but politics or the government might seem too much of a challenge or too broad or too big, and they don't think that design necessarily has a place there? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say that design is a very powerful tool. And we can see this when for example, I was given an example of the washing machine, and also I have the example of the flag. This is the flag project is only a provocation. It's not a project for redesigning the flag itself, but only bring the discussion. But I will give the example of the washing machine. When we started to design washing machines, we were designing very cheap washing machines. That they don't have spin dryer, for example, but they were really cheap, 1/5 of the cost of a regular washing machine. And so the people that could not afford a washing machine, they were able to have it, and we were investing a lot the interface of the product, the design, the status of the product. And then once we went to a poor community to visit a person that had bought the washing machine, and then when we entered the house, which was a very poor and simple house, the washing machine was in the living room. So I asked the person, why you are leaving the washing machine here in your living room at the side of the television and the sofa? Are you leaving the washing machine here because you would like to show me? No, I leave the washing machine here because I would like to show it to my community that I can have a washing machine. So this is something that brings self-fulfillment for the people, fulfillment for the people. And also this is the most wonderful thing that I have in my house, because before I had to wash in buckets, in the sink. And now I can have something to help me and to make my day better. So this is something that is also life-changing when you see the impact that design can bring to the community also.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And thank you for your presentation and being with us today.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.